Welcome everybody back to Forza Horizon 5, and today we're taking a look at the 2019 Jaguar XE SV Project 8. Now the XC, the standard one, started production in 2015 and this debuted in 2017 at the Goodwood Festival of Speed with production limited to 300 units. And yeah, what they've done with this car to make it go from a reasonably quick sports saloon in the form of the XES is basically just lavish it with extras to make it as quick and as in a straight line and as quick in terms of cornering as possible. So it's got carbon fibre body panels, front splitter, rear wing, both of which work in conjunction to provide more downforce. It's got a lightweight interior trim with the use of carbon fibre and Alcantara. It's got carbon ceramic brakes up front and grippier tyres, which is all lovely. But to go on top of all of that, we have a much larger and much more powerful engine under the bonnet. So the XES between 2015 and 2017 had a 340 horsepower, 332 pounds-feet of torque, 3 litre supercharged V6, which is really rather quite nice. But this has a supercharged 5 litre V8 engine which kicks out 592 horsepower and 516 pounds-feet of torque, which is a huge increase in horsepower and torque. Now granted, you could get a XES between 2017 and 2019 that would have around 375 horsepower, which again I am sure is a very nice driving car. But there's no doubt that this has way more power, way more torque, and yeah, the much more impressive engine. So that is yeah, incredible, quite frankly, and yeah, that's why it has all of the handling extras onto it. That's why it's got uses of carbon fibre, because obviously the engine is heavier. So even though this car does weigh 103 pounds more than the XES at 3,890 pounds, because of the carbon fibre use of carbon fibre, the lightweight interior trim and whatnot, it could have been a hell of a lot heavier with all of the extras that it's got going on, including the much larger engine. So yeah, to be only 103 pounds extra in weight with all of that increase in power and torque, and on top of all of that the improved handling, is yeah, really well quite remarkable. And to top it all off, it's still a decent interior in terms of luxury and safety and all of the usual creature comforts. So yeah, it's by no means a stripped out racer, but because of lightened the car in areas that you can lighten it in while not inconveniencing the driver or the passengers, that means that you've got pretty much all of the advantages with none of the disadvantages. So yeah, cracking piece of engineering, to be honest, as far as I'm concerned. Now you can get a lightweight stripped out version of this car where you've got even lighter front seats and no rear seats at all, but I like this version purely because it's got all of the practicality while still having all of the speed and handling that you could ever ask for. So yeah, and it's so practical as well. As you can see, got a really now rather big boot, just like the standard XC has. And yeah, you've also got a much better looking car as far as I'm concerned. The racing paraphernalia looks great. You've got these unique 20-inch rims as well, and then I like the decals that you've got going on as well, with the Jaguar badge on the side, and then the SV and Project 8 on the bonnet with the stripes, because as we all know, stripes on a car make a car go faster, which run all the way to the back of the car. So yeah, fantastic looking vehicle, impressive performance figures, and yeah, a good looking car on top of all of that. So yeah, let's get out onto the open road and see what this car can do. Right, so here we are at the drag strip, so let's see what this car can do before we hit the speed camera, and then we'll get it round its home territory, which is of course the track. So yeah, this shares the same 8-speed auto as the XES, and pretty much every XE version, to be honest, but obviously it must have been beefed up to deal with the extra power and torque. And as you can see, it is no slouch in terms of acceleration whatsoever. 141 miles an hour there. So no, obviously the XES was hardly a slow car. That could do 0 to 60, for instance, in 4.5 seconds, but this is quicker than that by no uncertain doubt, no doubt whatsoever. So yeah, fantastic sounding car as well, as you'll hear when we get onto the track. But yeah, it's just remarkable how different this car feels over the XES, which, like I said, was a perfectly good sports saloon car. especially given, you know, it was, I think it was the first compact saloon car that was a sporty saloon car from Jaguar for some time. But yeah, no doubt that this is even sportier and even quicker, and yeah, it's in S1 class, unlike the XES, which is in B class, so again, that should show you how much different this car is in terms of its abilities. And yeah, as you can see, the stats overall are pretty damn great, especially the braking and the handling. Launch is pretty good, acceleration is great, and the top speed, although it's on the lower side of things, it is still slightly quicker than the XES, but due to the extra aerodynamics, which are obviously providing a lot of downforce to keep this car as good in terms of handling as it is, the top speed is only 1 mile an hour quicker than what the XES could do. So yeah, but at the end of the day, top speed is kind of irrelevant at the end of the day. Most traction never get up to the kind of speeds that this can get up to, and yeah, on the road you're obviously never going to get up to that anyway. But nonetheless, let's hear what this car sounds like, and we'll talk about it some more. So yeah, it sounds fantastic, and Jaguar have never really had an issue with making engines sound great, and yeah, this is no exception to that rule. Handling wise, it's pretty much perfect, to be honest. Slower speeds is a tad bit of understeer, just to tell you that you're being a little bit overly ambitious, but still, it overall handles beautifully, especially when you're getting up to the higher rate of speed, so you can use that downforce. And yeah, it's overall really rather fun to drive on top of all of that. I had a real good time just driving this around free roam in the short amount of time that I've had this car, and yeah, it's just really fun to just drive in general terms as well. So yeah, highly recommend getting this car if you haven't got it already, and I'll tell you how to get it soon. But yeah, in terms of acceleration, you can now do 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. Now that's a second quicker than the XES. You can now do 0 to 108.1 seconds, which is 3.4 seconds quicker than the XES. And it will go to a top speed of 185 miles an hour. Now, like I said, that is only 1 mile an hour more than the XES, but that's purely because of all of the extra downforce that this has going on, because you've also got the splitter, you've got the rear spoiler, you've also got the, it looks like a rear diffuser or something on the back as well that's working in tandem with all of that. So, yeah, and then you've also got the wider wheel arches, so yeah, it's not going to be as quick as you might expect for a near 600 horsepower car at the top end. But the fact is, this can use all of its power and torque pretty much any time you want, and you've got all of that confidence behind it to make the most of what it's got as well. So yeah, it's really a confidence-inducing car, and to be honest, you wouldn't think it was a rear-wheel drive car because it handles power expertly. And yeah, I'm sure you can probably stick the car out in terms of its rear end whenever you want, but it sticks like glue to the road most of the time as well. So yeah, a glorious car, easily one of my favourite Jaguars ever made. Yeah, it's just a shame that so few were actually made anyway, but no doubt it was a bit of a you know, a loss for Jaguar, considering, you know, the XES has hardly, or the standard XE in fact, has hardly been a massive seller, and yeah, this would obviously not sell all that much, and obviously cost a lot to make as well. So I fully see why they've limited it to 300 units, but you can get this car in this game via the European Automotive Car Pack. It only costs £3.99 or $4.99 I think it costs, or something like that. So yeah, not much to buy, and you get 3 other cars alongside this, one of which we've already seen in Forza Motorsport in the base game, but still you're getting 3 cars that we've never had in a Forza Horizon game before, and 1 car that we've also never had in a Forza Horizon game, although we have had it in a Forza Motorsport game. So whether or not that irks you a bit, might put you off getting the car pack, but I fully recommend getting it just for this car alone. Nonetheless, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.